Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Red O'Loughlin here. Today on The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, I'm honored to have Glenda Benevides. She's an award-winning, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, also a member, voting member of the Recording Academy. And we'll get to that in just a minute. One of the big things that's happened to me recently is my eyes have seen better days. And it's the elephant in the room, and I just wanted to address that real quick. I have some issues going on. I don't know if allergies, infection, I have no idea. Anyway, it's being treated. But in the meantime, it looks funny. And rather than just let people guess, I figured we'll talk about them. I write primarily in the area of nonfiction. I research the human body at the cellular level. Chemically speaking, I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem, treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. But a lot of times, treating a symptom, you'll hide the cause of the problem to a degree that maybe sometimes it makes you a lot worse. So that's what I do, and been honored to be on the USA Global TV and Radio Network now for more than a couple of years, and I really appreciate Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the opportunity she's given me for that. Today, let's go ahead and get our guest, Glenda Benevides, and have her join us. So Glenda, are you available? There we go.
Hi, Red. Good to see you again. We get to hang again.
Yeah, it's literally just a very short while ago. You were on the corner bookstore, and we talked about your songs and the writing and
right.
The aspects of that portion of who you are. But today we're looking at it from a different perspective. We're looking more at the business world of Glenda Benevides. How did that mindset change? But I think one of the things we talked about backstage that I really want to start with is there's a process to get a Grammy nomination. And yours is, I think, Best Contemporary Blues Album at the 67th Grammy for vocal and melody, if I remember right. How did that journey start, and how do you actually get there? Because from a business perspective, that's super critical. So let's talk about that first.
Yeah, great question. I've been in the music and entertainment field for, oh my gosh, for at least 40 years. And as an active artist, like professionally, not just, oh, I want to, it's like, no, I actually do it. I actually get paid. That's what professional means. And I treat myself as such. So I got to a point a few years back where I just went, gosh, how do you get a Grammy? Like, I want to be acknowledged for, the 40 odd years that I've been working. And so I thought, let me check into that. So I did. I jumped in and recordingacademy.com and I found out the process that you have to go through to be a part of this club, for lack of a better word. And it was really amazing because I started researching and I found out that you have to be recommended. So you need 2 recommendations, and the recommendations need to be with an artist, someone that is actually working in the industry, not just your best friend or your mom or dad. It has to be somebody that knows you, acknowledges you, and is willing to stand up for you. So that's how it starts. And then once you get the 2 recommendations, then they send you an email asking you, why do you think you should be in the Recording Academy? And then you get to share with them your process, why you think you should be there, and so on and so forth. There's no right or wrong. But there are specific things that they do look for, which I found. They are looking for women that are empowered and that are up to things. So I realized that my first session out with them, it was fail. And my music partner goes, "What did you write?" And I was like, "Oh my God." Well, I wrote this. And he goes, no. They don't want your bio. They want to know what you're up to, like what you do. How do you contribute to your art? How do you contribute to people on the planet? That kind of thing. And specifically for me, all my philanthropic things, and also the things that I believe in, and supporting other women in the music. So that's what I wrote. And then that second year I got in. So that's the first step.
Okay, so you solved the process, but you brought up an interesting one. You talked about being professional, and sometimes we may be an overnight success after 20 years of doing whatever we do, but just being an overnight success doesn't make it professional. I was telling my wife yesterday, literally, that one of the plumbers that I had come out here to put in a garbage disposal, we were talking, and he said that there's a little snap ring or something that goes in, and he sat in front of his TV set 2 nights in a row, and he said he must have done 500 times, put this thing in, took it out, put it in, took it out. He did it left-handed, right-handed. He did it down below his knees. He did it above his head. He did it until he could do it without even thinking about it. It just popped in there. And he says that was always the hardest thing for him to do. And once he mastered that, he says everything else is so simple. So if you're going to be a professional, you have to really and truly understand what's required, which you did with the understanding the process, and then mastering the process as you go through, which needs feedback as you got. That's that's not quite exactly what they want. They want this. And so, and as part of your empire, and I'm going to use that word literally, you've developed a brand over time that's required probably some level of copyright and trademarks and things like that most people do, especially with your music. I know you can't copyright a song title, but the lyrics are very definitely in that area. And I, as a writer, blogger, whatever, I can't just use your lyrics unless I'm just using, in a comparison, a very short amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of opportunity, but that's off the board. And those things, I'm sure you've probably had some problems over time, but when you start looking from your business, what's copyrightable, what's trademarked, your lyrics, things, your products that you put your name on. How did that kind of evolve? Because those things don't happen with your first song or your first book. They kind of happen due to a lot of mistakes made over time. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an ongoing thing. So as you get into your business, and I kind of want to back up really quick, and I wanted to say, to let people know, if this is your passion and this is your talent and you're willing to dive in and really develop it and not give up, then you stay on a path. And then once you're on that path, you start to get involved with other people that are in the same industry. And then you get to ask questions, you learn, you research, you do all these different things, because again, with any business, it's not as simple as you think. It's not. You have to really dive into saying, okay, what is my brand? Who am I? You have to ask those hard questions to yourself, for yourself. And with any business, there's the art and then there's the business, right? And they can blend together, and you just have to educate yourself and then hang in there, because it's not simple. And if you think you're going to get famous or make a lot of money or whatever, that is a goal, but that's not necessarily realistic. because there's a variety of levels to that journey and to your business, and and there's many potholes, and things change and things move around and certain things stay the same, and like you were saying with copyright, there's a it gets complicated, and especially with the Recording Academy now, they've got several arms of the academy, which I think is really wonderful, because now they're treating this art field as a business too, because they're in a business. So yeah, I could talk more about that, but I'll let you jump in.
When did you discover that you really had a career as a business owner and not just a singer-songwriter?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I think I've always considered myself as a business owner, even though I didn't consciously know that. I'd always treated myself as a professional, and I took care of my voice, I took care of my body, I took care of a lot of things, and made sure that I was getting paid, making sure that if I was running the show, I had 1099s, so I didn't at the end of the year look like I made $100,000, and I didn't, because I paid out everybody in my band, that kind of thing. So those kind of things you have to look into and towards, otherwise the IRS will go, hello. So yeah, there's a variety of things to look into, and to I think it's a mindset, really, Red. The mindset is coming from, who am I? Coming from, what do I want from this career? What's realistic, and what can I overcome? There's a lot of that. And then there's different areas in the business that you can go into. You don't have to be, a pop star. You can be someone that does children's music. You can do packaging. You could do film. There's all these different areas in the music industry that you can dive into with your talent and your gifts and your passion. And I think that's really the place to start. And if you don't start there, you're just going to be all over the map, and you're just going to be moving around, So I think clarity always is the beginning.
Did you have any mentors, family, friends that really helped you out in the beginning?
Actually, no. I came from a blue collar worker family, and my parents, we listened to a variety of music in the house, and some of my first musics that I loved were the Monkees. And I had my own passion and my own desire, and I had a talent for it. So I just kept doing it, and I could see that I was being successful in it, like in school and high school and all that stuff. And you start to see yourself as, oh, this is what I love to do. This is what I'm doing. That's the first stages, right? And then you continue down that road, and then I decided that I wanted to be in a band, when I was 16. So I got into my first band at 16, and I can remember that my first weekend away from home at 16 was like, oh my God, I'm spending a night away from home. It's so weird when you're a child, but then, I was playing bars. So after you perform, you go sit out into the lobby, right? Because you can't be in the bar. So yeah, those were some fond beginning memories.
We all make mistakes, but we also have some of those epiphanies where, well, that worked out really well.
Right.
Let's not go down the road of what we did wrong, but was there one or two things that you really did right in the beginning that set you up down the road to become a more successful business person?
Yes, very key. Just follow the passion. Follow what you are passionate about and you have talent in, and then it will guide you to really find what's next. And you just keep going, and you never give up. You just don't give up.
We as writers, whether we're writing songs or we're writing books, we have a skill and a passion, as you say, in a certain aspect, which we master and become better at. But when it comes to what about marketing? It's I'll never give it any thought. I just published the book. I should have told people about it long ago.
Totally.
That marketing aspect of things, is that something that you learned late in life, or you do it now? You hire somebody? How did your marketing connect with your business?
Um, I think it starts with strategy. So you really kind of have to have a strategy of like where you want to go, who is your market. And it's not everybody's my market. No, it's not. There, you have to really look at whatever book you're writing. Like with me, I was like clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and community. It was all around courage, and it was my story about how I got through my trials and tribulations and that type of thing in the music industry, right? And so you have to kind of look at that, and then you kind of go, well, who am I speaking to? And once you find that who you're speaking to, then you can go, okay, now I need to like really, let's talk to women about this, because they really are, I can see there's a market for courage. I can see there's a market for clarity. And then you kind of drive your visuals, your images, your text, everything towards that. And then you get to like step back. Dr. Jacalyn's really brilliant at this. Then you step back and you look, you start to see where stuff is coming in from. Oh, I'm really popular in the UK. Oh, I'm really popular in New York, and it's between the ages of 25 and whatever, or it's a psych. And in the psychographic, you just go, the people that I'm really inspiring, when I'm really inspiring, are people that really want to grow. They want to evolve. They want to understand themselves and how they can get along with people better, how they have better listening, how they better have deeper conversations, that kind of thing, that are really fulfilling. So I think that's when it comes to, that's when you start you start really focusing in on how do I get my stuff out there, and who's listening, instead of like, oh, let me hit 14-year-olds, and they're like, they're not there yet. They just want to be on PlayStation, so yeah. So you just have to look from there. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a really interesting word to me, inspire, because most of the time we motivate, but we never cross that line that really becomes inspiration to people. And that's hard to do, even for many speakers, for book writers. But there's a magic line there that all of a sudden somebody, as you said, it's a deeper meaning, more fulfilling to them. It aligns with their focus. And all of a sudden now, it's not a motivational thing. They're actually inspired to take that action themselves. And
that's right.
And things happen. And so if I want to branch off from that thought, I notice when I look at a lot of your social media stuff, you have a lot of images that you mentioned earlier, and that whether it's photography or film, you just don't throw something up there on a screen just because it's available. You have a brand that you're trying to connect with your audience. So how do you control the visual world of your brand?
Yeah, great question. It's really important to have clarity. It's really important to know who you are, what you're presenting. And inside of that, like I have like my mission, I have my mission statement. I have things that drive me. And so inside of that, I want to be not only professional, because I'm professional, so I want to have the best. So sometimes it takes a minute, especially like photography and stuff. I've been in the business for a long time, so I know like who's good and who's not, but I don't know who it is in my area that does that. So like, for example, I'm in the Bay Area in California. And I moved to this area and I didn't know anybody. I'm like, okay. And so you just have to jump in, you start Googling things, you start figuring out like, okay, where am I going to find a photographer? And you have to look at their pictures. You have to look at who they're taking pictures of. Okay. So like if you're a coach or if you're a business person or something, you want to have a photographer that's going to give you the correct angles, the correct look that you want. And you can see it by their work. Now, for me, that's not what I want. I don't want to be that, I need to have somebody that can look into my soul, understands artistic visualization, understands what album covers look like, understand you can't just use anybody. I know it sounds weird, but I've kissed a couple of frogs on that. But I always feel that I'm divinely guided to find the right person. And and I found the right person, and he's done 3 of my album covers, and he's phenomenal, and he knows how to elicit things out of me and look inside of me and pull it on out, and I've been doing it for years, so I know where my angles are. I know what to look for, I know to, and then he helps adjust, like, okay, that, move your head down a little bit, move it over to the side a little, like that type of thing. So, and if you find somebody like that, that's what you want. You want somebody to help you, because that's not your job. You're the author, or you're the business person, or you're the coach, or you're the singer. So you should know stuff about yourself, but at the same time, you also need to have somebody that you can work with that really understands print or understands certain visual media. Like, they need to understand that. So
early in our careers, we pick like Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, and we kind of play there for a while. We put stuff up. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. But I was told a long time ago, if you post anything at all, always post a photograph with it. It may not be me, but it's always a photograph of something, because that photograph grabs that attention. And when you have a brand, you don't want to have something negatively grabbing that attention. So when you started your social media, I'm sure you probably did a lot of it early on yourself. Is that something you continue to do by yourself, or has that been hired out to somebody else?
It's both. I do some for myself, like when I get a little more personal, or I want to show pictures of where I'm at, or my friends, or whatever. That's fine. And then I also have somebody else that I've been working with over in the UK, actually, too. That helps me based on, again, what I'm marketing, what I'm promoting. So if I'm promoting my book for Christmas, he knows what to do with that, and I let him be creative. I don't let's just say I have the vision and the intention and the clarity of doing whatever, and then I let him be creative. And I think that's the best way to have partnership when you're working with anybody, is you need to have confidence in the person that you've hired, or that you're working with or partnering with, to actually do a really good job. You don't need to control or dominate or manipulate them. You need to just go, here's what I want, here's what I'm thinking of, and can you execute that, so to speak? Didn't mean to say that word. But can you put that together for me and do it in a way that really reflects me? And so, and then you have to let them be creative, otherwise you're just cranking out stamp. You don't want to do that. You want something that's going to reflect you as the business person and the artist that you are.
There are many social media options we have with Facebook, et cetera. They're almost innumerable with regard to how do we market ourselves? How do we market our business? You're more in the audio visual end of things than me as a writer, as a book author. So I'm assuming that YouTube is probably a major staple of what you do, along with maybe Spotify with regard to the audio part of it. So you're in an area that me as an author are not mastering. We're still having problems catching up with Instagram. So that journey from being able to get your songs now I have a playlist on YouTube. Oh, great. Now I have this. That evolution took a lot of effort, and a lot of, as you say, you have to understand with clarity, what do you want? So when somebody goes to your YouTube or watches you on a podcast, what are the things that you're trying to emanate from your brand?
Basically authenticity, and that I am who I am, and that I have something to offer. What is it that I have to offer others? They're going to either like it or not, or whatever, but just to be myself. And again, that takes, that takes a journey to self for self to share with others. And that's what you want to share. And I think, you will attract the audience that will love what you're doing. And you have to try different things. You have to try, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it this? Is it that? And then just jump in and see what works for you and what works for your audience. And are you reaching the right people that, and you can see, because you start looking at the stats, the numbers, and then you can go, okay, well, that's a waste of time and money. So don't do that, especially if you've given it 6 months to a year on something. That's kind of where I'm coming to myself. So I'm getting to that level. I've given it a wild shot for a long time. So yeah, it's just there's a lot to do.
Okay. So your credibility is established there with your videos and your audios. And with that, your reputation is marketed as, this is who I am.
Yes.
This is real Glenda. And I want to congratulate you on coming on one of the last shows on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Within a week, you were number one at 5,000 plus views or something like that, if I remember right. So congratulations on that particular stat that you reached on the shows. And I'm hoping down the road that I may be able to share one of those top 10 with you also, but that's down the road. So we'll do what we can. Reputation marketing, that's super critical to a business, because sometimes somebody says something and now you got to go out and figure out what pissed them off or what happened. And it may not even be your fault, but is there somebody in your business that monitors or that aspect of the overall enterprise that you have? If somebody's bad mouthing you somewhere, do you even know about it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a small team of like 3. So that's one area we don't put any focus on. So far, I haven't really had anything negative. So I'm not that big a fish. Like, yeah, you got to be a big fish in order to be attacked. So, I consider myself, a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, someone that's building a business in music industry. And I do a variety of things too. So, I just keep my clarity and intentions high, and draw in the right people to work with me at the right time. And again, you can't do everything all at once. Just get out there and sample things and ask yourself the deeper questions and get some coaching, get some help. Dr. Jacalyn's a good person to do that with. She has a wonderful, for lack of a better word, workshop class, about listening. Listening is so key. It's like, if you don't listen to yourself and if you don't listen to others, how will you know what people need or want? And then you can also reconstruct yourself for an offering. It's very important to dive into those areas.
You're absolutely right about Dr. Jacalyn and her listening classes. That I have learned so much over time, and I know how to listen. Well, maybe you don't know everything there is about it. And
right.
I know what I want to answer to your question, and I'm focused on that. I'm not listening if I'm already preparing a response. So she does a super
exactly.
excellent job. Absolute number one as far as I'm concerned, with somebody's ability to listen and actually improve their lives, business and social. So one of the things that I had to do a lot in the military was intermix my short-term planning and my long-term planning. I would have units that I would send to Korea or Bahrain or whatever to meet exercises that were 6 months, 8 months, a year out. And you have to get all that done. In our businesses, as I'm writing songs, I have this Grammy award coming, I have whatever going on. We are so deluged with everything today. Today, I'm worried about the Texas sales tax, meeting that deadline, getting my income stuff done. I have a book that's literally, I'm pushing it out the door. I just can't get my hand touching the book to push any further. How do you do your long-term and short-term planning for your business so that your empire grows efficiently?
That's what I'm looking at right now, actually. Great question. And it's like I've really come into probably the last year or so to really treat myself as a business, and then know what that is, especially with short term, long term. Um, so yeah, I'm building and evolving myself inside of several things. One is live performance. A couple of things. I'm touring. Going to be touring with a an amazing vocalist. He and I are going to be doing jazz set in the UK, so that's going to be wonderful. I'm also working with another Dr. Madeline Chen, with her to create a wonderful weekend retreat or a 3-day retreat. For those of you that want to step into your own clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and community, and listening. And what does that mean? How do I get there? Those type of things. And yet at the same time, being able to relax. How do I take care of myself? Those type of things. So I'm moving into that and a variety of other things to move into my 5-year plan, to move into that, which is, to create a sustainable income that really makes a difference, and also continue down the road of my philanthropic things of planting trees and, educating people to environmental issues. And it's on a positive note, I think it's pretty fabulous that we're having environmental issues, because I think it's helping people wake up. I was thinking that, I've been awake for a long time and completely involved in educating myself and other people around environmental stuff and how I can mitigate that. And I noticed that since LA has been burning for the last 3 days, oh my goodness, it's really kind of hit to the heart of wake up. And especially with our industry down there, it's really being hit hard. And I think I hope it's not about tragedy. And I mean, it's part of that, yes, but sometimes you have to be kicked to wake up and go, you know what, this is an issue. This has never happened before. So I wonder how I can get involved. I wonder how I can shift my behaviors, my habits. How can I get involved in making sure that my children, my grandchildren are being taken care of and not, in a wasteland, in an apocalypse. So I think that's very key for me in my 2-year, 5-year plan, if we can make it that long, as a business. So how can I do that? That's the question. And then you start answering it by getting into action.
And your 3-day retreat coming up over in England, is the goddess within one of those things that you're going to be cultivating?
Absolutely. Soul on fire, goddess within, the whole thing. We're going to be whipping it all up for those beautiful 3 days.
Is there anything, we're getting toward the end of the show, I just want to make sure that I had a chance to give you the opportunity, if there's something we haven't talked about or something that kind of evolved in the brain as we're talking today, is there something that you really want to cover that I have not asked a good question about?
I think, Red, with our whole conversation around business and what it takes, I really feel like you've got to start at a foundational level. It's a ground level of really, really get connected to yourself, get that clarity, really see what is it that I really want and what is it I'm passionate about. Then listen to the voice that comes back. And if there's something, let's just say there's something that you're passionate about, you're really good at, but you're afraid of, or or you've got the little voice saying, oh, I can't make money doing that, or, oh, I can't do that. Or you got your parents' voice, you got somebody else's voice, or your own inner negativity, right? If you can start to be curious about that and start to quell that, then you can allow yourself to step forward and you have courage. You create the bravery to step into what is it? Let me try it. Let me just try it and see how that works. And then you can start, you get in, you get a little confidence, you get a little clarity, you're just like, you're rocking it. And you start to see yourself, I'm really committed to this. Okay, good. Then you don't give up. You can see a future. You start to create a future. You start to step into a future and you practice it. And once you do that, then the energy comes up inside of you and you just keep going and you hit those hurdles, because they're hurdles to get over, and just know that you're in the right place and you just keep going. And then at some point, as we evolve as human beings, we also evolve in our careers. And, you may have seen yourself, and I've hit this several times. You may have seen yourself as, oh, I'm an author, or I'm a writer, or I'm a singer, or whatever. And you go, and that's my who I was for 20 years. And it's like, then you have to look at it and go, is that really all who I am? Am I really passionate about that? Is there really a place for me in that field? And do I need to make one? So that's what I've been up against. And especially as a mature person and as an artist, you start to go, well, I'm not in that category anymore. So I would say, just keep going, don't give up, and really be curious about who you are and what your contribution is truly.
We learn all the time, at least I hope we do, that it's just a part of our life. We learn. You hit very distinctly on one word that I really, whoa, okay. That's the courage, because we know, but we may be stymied by what we call analysis paralysis. We just don't want to take that next step. And you mentioned a brief moment ago about knowing that you have to treat yourself, your business, as a business and not just a hobby or something you love to do because you have a passion for it. So it's a lot of things that you said there, just almost in a, oh, by the way, kind of way, that I think are super critical, because if you're going to be successful, if you're going to have a brand that's going to dominate, you're going to make some money, you're going to be a professional, there are just so many different aspects to it. And we learn as we go along, but sometimes we need help from others. Just like you talked about Dr. Jacalyn and being able to improve our listening ability. We don't even think we have a problem with listening, but there are so many things out there we have problems with. But it's getting to the end of the show, so I want to make sure people know, how do they get your products? You're going to be anywhere in the near future that people need to know about? And we're going to go ahead and end the program right after you get finished talking about that.
Yeah, thank you. Glendamusic.com is pretty easy. It's glendabenevides.com, but Glenda Music is really easy. For those of you that don't want to spell out Benevides, you can go there. I have a YouTube channel, Glenda Benevides Music. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just type in my name. And then as far as my products go, every time you purchase something like my music or any of my merchandise or my books, I know that you're doing that. And so what can happen is once you purchase it, then I take $1 off of that and I plant a tree. And I plant trees with one tree planted. And they're wonderful. So I get to pick where I want to plant trees. I've been planting them in Canada and California and the UK. So that's kind of been my focus area for planting trees. But yeah, I just, I love to give back. And so that's my way of being an action around the environment.
Thank you so very much, Glenda. I really enjoyed. I thought I had learned a lot about you last time we chatted, but today was much more so. And I appreciate your time, your insight, and best of luck in 2025 and for your 2 and your 5-year programs, because those are all important. And so Thank you again very much.
Thank you so much, Red. Appreciate it.
Okay. I look forward to seeing you again. As we wrap up the Wise Ones here on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, Red O'Loughlin, I have my own show called Talking Heads. It starts in about 20 minutes, and I talk about various aspects of health and wellness most of the time. And today I'm talking about the immune system. It's one of those things we all have. It got challenged during COVID. It gets challenged all the time just with the normal stresses in our lives. Sometimes people have a stress and they reach out there and they grab a hold of it and they don't want to let go of that stress for no reason. But it's one of those things we need to do. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and appreciate your time today with regard to our USA Global TV and Radio Network, available on YouTube at USA Global TV. Go to the playlist, archives, everything is there. So my Just double checking my list of things here before we sign off. Okay. Randall Laughlin signing off. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I'll be on the show here in 20 minutes on the same channel you're on right now. Take care. Have a great day. Bye now.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacalyn.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacalyn.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today.